Welcome to our virtual back to school night. My name is Mrs. MacFarlane, and I will be your child's first grade teacher. So let's begin with a little bit about me. This is my third year teaching at Dana Elementary School. Before I taught at Dana Elementary School, I had 1 year of experience teaching third grade in Monterey County, and I was an LST, or Literacy Support Tutor, for the Santa Maria Bonita School District. I'm a graduate of the University of California, Santa Barbara and the Cal Poly School of Education. At Dana Elementary School, we have a mission and vision. So what we do is we like to engage, challenge, and inspire students through the power of learning, meaning we do a lot of hands-on activities and we ask in-depth questions so students can apply the concepts to real-life skills. Our vision at Dana Elementary School is, at Dana Elementary, we will be effective communicators in speaking, listening, and writing. We will take responsibility for our words, actions, attitudes, and learning. We will show respect, empathy, and kindness towards others. So let's take a look at the first part of that vision. So in our first grade classroom, we practice speaking, listening, and writing in our lessons. And how we do the speaking is I encourage my students to use sentence stems to respond to each other during our class conversations. Students are always expected to have a listening body when others are speaking. And in writing, we really focus on making an argument by having a topic sentence and having those students support that topic with details. The second part of that vision is when we talk about our words, actions, and attitudes and respect and empathy. When we look at those parts in our first grade class, we cover empathy and respect in our care meetings on Friday when we teach students how to handle their emotions and give them skills on how to cope with certain feelings. Also, throughout our days in the first grade, meaning Monday through Thursday, respect is always emphasized in our classroom and taught with our classroom rules and procedures. In my classroom and our classroom management, for online, we're using Class Dojo. Class Dojo is a nice app where I can give students points for good behavior. You can access Classroom Dojo at classdojo.com, and I've sent invites out to emails so you can see how your child is doing behavioral-wise and get some classroom updates. I also included in the slide deck down below a link to the Class Dojo, which will help you become connected with our classroom and your child's progress. Classroom management is, our class uses positive behavioral intervention. And what that means is that rather than punishing a child for a wrongdoing, we seek to correct the behavior. And in our class, we earn cash outs by doing well on activities. And if someone's having a hard day, we have conferences and talk about how we can make the behavior better. What can that child do to improve? Students can lose points for poor behavioral choices on Class Dojo. If a student loses more than 1 point for the same behavioral category, they may have to conference with me or lose certain privileges. Each week, I will have a star student in our class present about themselves online. We will probably not start this until maybe about 2 weeks. And this is a great way for the students to get to know each other and connect. Because we are doing learning online, I do have Google Meet behavior expectations. So in our meetings, if you're in a loud background, I expect you to mute yourself. And I've been teaching the students on the first day how to mute themselves on Google Meet. Additionally, I may ask students to mute themselves if I have something very important to say. I expect students to be on time for our lessons so we don't miss anything and keep their video on the whole time. By keeping that video on the whole time, I can track their progress and engagement. Come prepared to our classroom meets by having your material bins next to you as we are learning. Additionally, having any exit tickets up in a separate tab so your child can easily access it during our math lessons or other lessons. Sitting still, making sure we have a focused body is very important, and being respectful of others as we navigate our online learning experience. In our classroom, we raise our hands as a signal to show that we need to speak. And I prefer that our children do not eat during our class meetings because that is a distraction. Your child will be given frequent breaks throughout our Google Meets to have a chance to eat and use the restroom. Finally, I can't emphasize this last one enough. Find a quiet place to join our Google Meet. If you have 2 children on Chromebooks with their online meetings, I recommend putting them in 2 different rooms so we don't hear the other child's teacher through our meetings. And also, by finding a quiet place, your child will be able to focus much better on the lesson. Our daily schedule is as follows. So here is our Monday, Wednesday, Thursday schedule. So we always meet at 9 a.m. to go over our calendar and a little bit of a rules review. Then we would do some math between that 9:15 time to 10:05. Afterwards, your child will be given some time to work on Dreambox and Reflex. Your child will have a recess break from 10:30 to 10:50. It's important that your child comes back at 10:50 to work on our whole group writing. After 11:40, what we would do is your child will participate in one of the small groups. And we have group A, B, C, and D, which also have animal names. And by going to their assigned group, they will get specific reading instruction at their level. To reward students for good behavior, if they earn a certain amount of points from that 220 to 230 spot, we have a class cash out where they get to participate maybe in a dance, or we get to play a whiteboard game. And that's to reward them for their behavior and patience, because online learning is a challenge for 6-year-olds. On Tuesday, our schedule is a little bit different. You can see that morning is the most part the same, but we bumped up the reading groups. And the reason we bumped up the reading groups is because at the end of the day, from 1:40 to 2:30, your child will be participating in online PE with Coach Wiley. Friday schedule. So Friday, as you can see, we do our whole group calendar from 9 to 9:30, but we also have a care meeting, and that's when we talk about behaviors and feelings and give your child coping strategies, and we teach them how to deal with difficult situations or just their feelings maybe, and we talk about that. We have our whole group writing, Dreambox and Reflex, and you can see we have our reading group times. However, just to make a note, it won't be until a few weeks after I'm done testing all students that we will have our whole group writing in our reading groups. For the first few weeks of school, we're really going to focus on testing your child on their reading level to make sure that we put them in the appropriate reading group, and adjustments will be made over time. Let's go into our curriculum. So in the first grade, we use Wonders from McGraw-Hill. And I really like this program because it has all the literacy components built within it. We have our spelling, grammar, phonics, and vocabulary. The reading or Wonders McGraw-Hill will be taught in your child's reading group at their reading level with level books. In those groups, we will work on spelling with our letters of the week or sounds of the week. We will also go over word work such as swords and practicing reading certain letter patterns. And we have a reading comprehension skill that your child will work with their level texts, as well as some grammar, which will mostly be taught within our writing course. As I mentioned earlier, your child will be taking a reading assessment, and I will be administering those on Fridays. All children will be given a reading inventory to assess their reading level called Fontes and Pinnell. On Fridays, I will have a reading schedule posted on your weekly assignments, and in that schedule, you should be able to see which time slot your child will have. I will test them on their reading level, and they will take a sight word assessment. Let's jump into mathematics. In mathematics, we're no longer trying to be a calculator, but rather we're trying to encourage students to become a mathematical thinker or a problem solver. And in our school district, we are using Investigations as our curriculum. Investigations is a great program because it has games built within it, and it has real-life problems to engage students to foster a deeper understanding of their math work and how certain strategies can apply in real life. For math, your child will get Google Drawings in which they can manipulate different parts to solve problems. And additionally, your child has received a baggie in their tub of manipulatives. We will be using these quite frequently for children to solve complex problems. Writing is also a very important part of our first grade curriculum. At Dana Elementary School, we utilize thinking maps, not just for writing, but also for reading. And with our thinking maps, that helps our children plan out their ideas in a coherent way, and it's a great skill. So in our first grade classroom, we will be touching upon the following writing subjects. In the beginning of the year, we're going to start with expository writing, meaning we are going to explain or describe something. Right around that winter time, we're going to jump into personal narrative, where they're going to tell a story about something that happened to them. Finally, near the end of the year, we are going to touch upon opinion writing. In the first grade, we use Step Up to Writing, in which we have different color codes for the different parts of the paragraph. So in first grade, what we do is we start with the green, which I call the topic sentence, and then we work on the children developing their 3 details in a concluding sentence. Near the end of the year, we start introducing the red, which is the more supporting details, or what our class calls it is the juicy details, which gives the reader more information. Speaking is a big part of our curriculum as well. In the first grade, we want our students to be able to communicate their ideas with complete sentences. And how we practice our speaking skills is by the use of sentence stems during our classroom discussions, as well as students voicing their opinions within our different studies. So for example, if we're in reading, students are encouraged to express what they think the answer is using our sentence stem and responding to each other in a respectful manner. Unlike last year, we have some new electronic curriculum that your child will be using. One of them is Google Classroom and Google Meet. So Google Classroom is a forum in which your child's classwork will be posted each day on the stream. It's important that your child turns in their work in a timely manner to get full credit. All instruction within the first grade, or direct instruction, will be live. So that way your child gets direct access to the teacher. Your child will also have some independent work that is not live, and they're encouraged to watch the videos and complete that work on their own, and parents can help them with that. Google Meets is another important tool, and it is also embedded within our Google Classroom. Google Meets allows each child to have video conference with their teacher and other students. At the bottom of our slide here, I have a tutorial to our Google Meet, how to use Google Meet, and how to use Google Classroom. I can't emphasize this last part enough. Regular participation is key to having a successful learning experience during our distance learning. Other electronic materials that we will use is through Clever. In Clever, your child can access Dreambox, RazKids, and Reflex Math. Other programs that we will be using this year are Imagine Learning, and eventually we're going to have a program called Seesaw, in which your child can interact with the worksheet and take pictures of their work and submit it to the teacher. For parent communication, feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I'm very comfortable with using email, Class Dojo, as well as Parent Square. I will mostly be using Parent Square, which is a great application which you can send me instant messages. Over here, we have the slide for Parent Square, and it's an app that I can easily send instant messages and post updates to our classroom. And below, we also have a link on how to use Parent Square that you can click on and work with. Thank you so much for watching our Back to School Night presentation. I'm excited to work with both you and your child this academic year. If you have any questions or concerns, remember you can always email me, use Class Dojo, or use Parent Square. Thank you so much.